They need a voice as well. Not every business in Sault Ste. Marie is a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and I think that needs to be made clear. I think that with the technology we have now, we could determine which business owners want to have their input and go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duke. Mr. Selvers.
Is there any way I can have that question repeated for me? Because I'm thinking of a different question here.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Maybe it's easier said than done.
Are there issues directly impacting the businesses that you believe City Council should be involved with?
Great, okay. Thank you. Thank you for repeating that question for me. You know what, I grew up and basically grew up and always worked in the ICI construction, now maintenance sectors, and I've never really dealt with the Chamber of Commerce, although I'm really looking forward to having to deal with them. And yeah, so any input is good input. And I cannot make an informed decision without the input from the Chamber of Commerce. But not only them, I need to ask the tax-paying citizens of Sault Ste. Marie if they agree with whatever they're dishing out. You know, they want me to, you know, help support them with.
Thank you very much. Could we have another question from the panel, please?
How familiar are you with council and your own ward?
I believe the lead on this would be Ms. Myers.
Yeah, and I have to apologize, I didn't hear the question.
Okay, could you please repeat the question?
How familiar are you with council and your own ward?
How familiar are you with council in your own...
And your own ward.
Oh, how familiar are you with council and your own ward?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Intimately. That's it.
Thank you very much. We might get to 16 questions tonight. Mr. Duke.
I think that's a question that's somewhat unfair to Mr. Selvers and myself, as the incumbents would obviously be much more familiar with council and the ward. I'm not honestly sure how to answer that. I live in Ward 2. I love Ward 2. I've done a lot of consulting with the people of Ward 2, so I'm getting a feel for their knowledge, but they're not going to come to me at this point and say, these are our issues, this is what we want, this is what we need done. They're going to look to our councillors that we currently have. I don't think that that's a question that I'm in a place to answer. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Duke. Mr. Selvers?
Thanks, guys. The two incumbents, I'm sure I've dealt with them somewhere along the lines, or at least we seem to be close. But yeah, you know what? Over time, I'm sure things will change. I would get closer to everybody. As far as me, you know, in my campaign, going knocking on door to door, it's very hard for me to do because I just don't like bothering people at home. It's hard to knock on a door and see somebody with a baby come to the door, and that's tough, man. If there's issues, I'm an open, you know, come to my door, call me up, and I'm right there. I've always been there for everybody, whether it's at work, personal life, anywhere. People come talk to me, and I do listen, and you know, I do my best to help them through a situation, or at least be their voice, and that's my big thing. I do speak up for almost anybody that asks.
Thank you, Mr. Selvers. Mr. Sheehan.
Yeah, I'll comment. Just very familiar. As in my opening statements, I stated that you know, I was first elected in 2003. I've served 3 terms as the you know, the Ward 2 city councillor. Over that time, you know, I've answered thousands of calls and emails. I've sent out newsletters. I've had little teeny ward meetings on various subjects. And over that time, it's given me a very intimate knowledge of the issues that the people face. And I think 2 years on the, the 2 terms on the school board prior, you know, made me very familiar with the ward. And so yeah, I'm very familiar. I'm very active on city council. I participate. I'm prepared when I show up. Not only am I just prepared in reading the staff reports, but I'm proactive and bring things to the council table as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheehan. And owing to the hour, I think this will be the last question.
What will you do to support the development of arts and cultures industries in this city?
Mr. Duke.
That's a great question. Today I actually received an email from the head of the Bush Plain Heritage Center requesting that council be more proactive and more supportive in benefiting the arts and just helping with the arts in Sault Ste. Marie. I think that council needs to get out to the events. They need to make themselves seen. They need to listen to what the people who are in the arts community have to say. I'm not personally involved with the arts per se, but I think that that's why we need to turn to those people and see what they want. We need to just have open discussion and see what's important, what can we do to help those people. Obviously, the more festivals we can draw here, the more music events, the more entertainment we can have here, the better. It just breeds a good ground for developing the arts in Sault Ste. Marie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duke. Mr. Selvers.
Right, as far as the arts and culture? Arts and culture? Yeah, I've never been really involved in the arts, although I do, we do go to the museums, we do go to the Bush Plain. We have a lot of great stuff here. I mean, we already have a lot of great stuff here, and what else other than, like I said many times before, other than throwing a lot more money at it, our money, there's not too much we can do. I mean, we got great stuff here. Maybe, like I said, maybe it starts in the home, maybe it's in the schools, maybe we have to just, as a community, promote it to to ourselves more. I can't say how much great stuff there is here.
Thank you, Mr. Selvers. Mr. Sheehan.
Thank you very much. I've had the opportunity and pleasure to sit on the Cultural Advisory Committee now for quite some time. And things that I'm proud of is that, bringing forward a resolution and increasing the grants that we give out to arts and cultural groups significantly, more than double over a period of time. Of course, those are still oversubscribed. One of the things that I continue to push as well is creating the linkage between arts, culture, and entrepreneurship. There's a lot of synergies there. There's a lot of similar thinking. For instance, Steve Alexander, the owner of Lop Lops, just little simple things you can do as a councillor. He called me when he was doing one of these big festivals that were downtown, and he ran into a problem, and he needed some city assistance. He needed a certain piece of equipment. While I was on holidays, I was heading to the provincial park. I had to go to the trading post, made a call, and made that happen to support that. So those are little things you can do, and those are big things you can do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheehan. Ms. Myers.
One of the key things that City Council can do is to retain the funding that is in place and to lobby for the grants and opportunities with the other levels of government. I think that as we get to know our arts and cultural offerings in this community, we can see that it's a very rich fabric in our community. I'm glad to hear Michael talk about being there, because I think that the Bush Plain, the Heritage Discovery Center, the museum, the art gallery, the Norgoma, all of these attractions are critically important to our overall inventory. The email that John referred to is from the Cultural Corridor Group, and it's a group that I started by bringing them all together, and I said, you've got to sing out of one songbook, come to City Council, present United Front, and thus we have the Cultural Corridor. Again, it's the kind of thing we can do to support them. We can get actively involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Myers. That concludes the question and answer portion of this evening's forum. It's now time for the closing statements, and the closing statements will be presented by the candidates in reverse order of the opening statements. So we'll lead off with Mr. Selvers, please.
Oh, thank you. I hope I did a good enough job to get some of your attention, some of the voters' attention tonight. I speak from the heart. There's no sugarcoating here. These were a lot of hand-picked questions. We didn't touch a lot of the real issues around, but like I said, spending. We spend way too much money, and anytime we got to spend money, put a package together, tell the taxpayer what's going to cost, what's going to cost each household $200 a year extra on their taxes, get those numbers out. That's being accountable to the taxpayer. That's something we should start doing. Next time before we take a $4 million project on, let's tell the people exactly what it's going to cost them, get the numbers out there. Maybe we might reconsider building it, and maybe we'll look at some private investors. Maybe there's private money out there that would like to invest. But as far as private investors, if it's profitable, let somebody else take it on, charge an admission fee, and we'll pay to play.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salvers. Mr. Duke.
As a new candidate, I face an uphill battle in trying to displace one of the two incumbents. I don't have all the answers. I can't say that I do. I don't have the experience of sitting on council the past 2 or 3 terms. So obviously my councillors here have a greater knowledge of the workings of council than I do at this time. But I've been getting out. I've been doing my best to speak with everyone in Ward 2 that I can. I believe that we need to work together and listen to the residents of Ward 2. I'm only one voice and one vote, but I promise that it will be a strong vote. All I can ask for is the opportunity to serve the people of Ward 2 and Sault Ste. Marie, and I just ask for your support on October 27th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duke. Ms. Myers.
Folks, I'm asking for your support to continue as your representative on City Council. I'm easy to reach by telephone or email. I respond to you as soon as possible. I live beside you in Ward 2. I get the issues, and I get on them when you call. In my past 2 terms, I've demonstrated leadership on many important issues. I called the halt to the move to the East End Library and the loss of the restaurant at John Rhodes. I asked for a report on seniors' tax grants. I initiated the first ever code of conduct for mayor and council, the first ever fund to support major events bringing money into our community, and the first off-leash dog park opening soon. I've sat on many boards and committees over the past 2 terms. I spent 3 years working as the admin chair for Celebrate 100, and I'm a woman of action. I love this city. It's my heart home in Ward 2, where I was born and raised. I want this job to press our community forward together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sheehan.
Thank you very much. They say that experience is the best teacher. I do have a lot of experience representing Ward 2, both on the school board and as your city councillor. I have been very proactive and positive. I am well prepared at City Council. I'm accessible. I deal with people daily. I had a multitude of calls and work orders today just before I came in. I am committed to this community, to Ward 2. I think that I have the experience and the energy to get the effective results that you so desire in Ward 2. It has been an absolute honor and privilege serving you, and I never take that for granted. And I humbly ask for your support once again on October 27th so we can continue to work together to strengthen our community. If you require more information, you can go to my website at terrysheehan.com. Send me an email, give me a call. It's been an absolute wonderful experience, and I want to thank everyone here tonight for tuning in and for putting this wonderful political forum on. It is so important to the community and to Ward 2 to be able to hear from all these candidates. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheehan. On behalf of the Sault Ste. Marie Chamber of Commerce, Algoma University, Shaw TV, and Local 2, I'd like to thank our candidates for taking part in this evening's forum. Thank you to all of you who attended our session in council chambers and to our viewing audience. Thank you to those tuning in on Shaw TV and Local 2. We extend our thanks to Shaw TV and Local 2 and the news media for their support in pulling this event together. We hope you have enjoyed our series of election forums and the candidates seeking election for City Council and Mayor positions. We invite you to join us tomorrow evening as we continue our 2014 municipal election candidate awareness forums. Tomorrow's evening sessions will begin at 6:30 p.m. with election candidates in Ward 3, and then at 8:15 with election candidates in Ward 4. We remind you and encourage all of you to get out and vote on October 27th. Thank you.